More geopolitics now to tell you about in the press review with Deepti Galon, who joins me on set. Hi, Deepti.
Hi, Peter.
So you've been looking at this leak from the US media Defense One about Trump's national security strategy.
Yeah, that's right. So Defense One is a website that pretty much reports on U.S. defense policy and news and so forth. So this website has leaked details from what it says is a still classified national security strategy. It reports that in that strategy, Trump expressed a desire to, quote, make Europe great again by focusing U.S. relationships on four nations in Europe which have, similar right-wing governments, Austria, Hungary, Italy, and Poland, with the goal of pulling them away from the EU. As the Times of London elaborates in this article here, the leaked files show that the US want to persuade the four nations to leave the EU. That strategy also included the idea of a Core 5 or a C5 group that involves, that is made up of the US, China, Russia, India, and Japan, a group which would meet regularly, for summits like the G7 do. Their first order of business would be to normalize relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. The Times noting that the White House, for its part, has denied the existence of any kind of classified version, saying the only version is a published one.
Curious, and it sparked some strong opinions in the press as well.
It has indeed. There's an interesting article here from The Guardian today. John Crace writing in this article that, his question is, where on earth is Parliament? He says that Donald Trump's threats, for instance, to destabilize European democracies, support far-right nationalists, withdraw from NATO, support Russia, all of this constitute a, quote, moment of existential crisis for Europe. It's time to wake up, he says, because when the U.S. president says this kind of thing, then you had better believe that he's going to follow through with it. And
MAGA continues to court the far right across Europe.
Yeah, that's right. It's in the Times of London still today, which looks at how Donald Trump's MAGA allies are cultivating a European resistance. The Times, of course, reminding us that earlier this week, a delegation of 20 MPs from the AfD, radical right-wing AfD party in Germany, traveled to the US. Their foreign policy spokesman is also on very good terms with Moscow, hence why the Times says here, drinks parties with the Russians and scathing criticism of centrist governments could morph into Cold War-esque interference across the continent. At least those are some of the fears that certain countries might have. The Wall Street Journal's editors, for its part, looks at the real reason for the decay of Europe. In this editorial today, it says that Washington could have a positive influence on Europe. For instance, Donald Trump's demand for more defense spending could spearhead welfare reforms. However, courting the European far right could ironically be counterproductive. The editor is warning that these parties are often instinctively anti-American and anti-economic reform.
And you've got some sports news for us about British darts legend already at his young age, Luke Littler.
That's right. Luke the Nuke Littler is already a legend at the age of 18. He shook off some first-night nerves to win his first round against his Lithuanian rival on the opening night of the 2025-2026 edition, the World Championship of Darts. He's already the reigning world champion, so he's looking to defend his title and be the first man in many years to do so. His first round went pretty well for him. Littler is buzzing. That's what the Daily Mirror Sports says here. While here, the Daily Star says, hot lips Luke and a pucker start. A little pun as well, as you see there, in a very amorous embrace with his girlfriend after that match.
And finally, you've been looking at a big French triumph in what are called the Oscars of video games.
Yeah, that's right. For the uninitiated, it is really the video games. It's a night of nights for video game, the industry. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 won big at the Games Awards. Le Figaro taking us through the triumph for this French video game. It picked up 9 awards, including Best Game or Video Game of the Year. A historic success. It's the first French video game to pick up this award at that ceremony in Los Angeles. It's a French success story, it says, for Sandfall Interactive, the tiny Montpellier studio made up of just 30 people who produced the game, and which has since sold over 2 million copies. Peter, The Guardian explaining today really the story behind this and how it started out as a side hustle for Guillaume Broche while he was working at Ubisoft. The narrative-driven role-playing game offering a unique world, challenging combat, and developed music set against the Lumière period. Brush said he would work 8 hours on the game after his full-time job. It looks like all that hard work has paid off. While Le Monde, in its coverage, notes that the game also really was a hit because it leaned into its Frenchness in the dialogue, in the decor as well, the strategy that up to now was really reserved for indie video games.
Yeah, a game dripping with French flair. Thank you so much for that, Deepti Laurent, with the press review.